Brick Artemis, everybody. Today we have a new 1/6 figure review from Hot Toys. And I got a couple of new figures this week, but I'm wanting to dig into the Amazing Spider-Man, which I like to call comic book Spidey. So let's go ahead and get into this one. Here we have the box art for the Amazing Spider-Man from Hot Toys. I got mine from Sideshow, as you can see the sticker there. And this was a very limited piece. Now, I do want to say this is probably my favorite box art from Hot Toys of all time. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, and I absolutely love this art because it is so much like Spider-Man's first comic book appearance. And I have been a Spider-Man fan for a very long time. As you can see here, the title is absolutely popping. And of course, we have Spider-Man underneath. Could they have used the Hot Toys figure? Possibly, but I'm fine that they didn't. I mean, they do that a lot on these box arts, so it does not bother me in the slightest. As you can see up here, it says 1/6 scale collectible figure, and of course the title once again. I'll show that. Over here we have the Sideshow sticker, and of course above that we have the comic book looking emblem there. We have the where it says 15, and of course this is like the issue print here that they show on comic books, which is really cool that they put 015 because that is Spider-Man's first appearance. This box art, I'm telling you guys, is super nice as you spin it around. You have the Amazing Spider-Man logo right there on the side, and you have a bunch of warning stuff there, along with a little spider on the back, and of course the logo there once again, guys. I love this box art. This is amazing, and yeah, sure, pun intended, why not? This is great. I cannot wait to open this bad boy up. So let's go ahead and do so. So when you slide the top layer off of the box, you see this really cool flap inside. This picture here on the right reminds me so much of like a Sam Raimi photo from like Tobey Maguire, like the old school Spider-Man 2 kind of poster board or something where he's like crawling up the building or swinging through the city or something like that. Thought this was really cool, wanted to show it. But let's go ahead and really get inside this bad boy. Right away, you can see through the shell all the webs, Spider-Man himself, the hands, which comes with plenty of hands, and multiple sets of eyes, and of course, little green goblin up there on the top right. As we slip off the shell, take off some of this plastic, we see the figure here, and he's looking really, really good so far, at least from a quote-unquote distance. First thing I want to look at here, though, is the Green Goblin. I was not a huge fan of this when I first saw the pictures because I'm like, why? Why are we doing this? But then it started to dawn on me, like, well, what if they're hinting toward like a Green Goblin animated 1/6 figure for Hot Toys? And this is like a huge hint. And you know what? It actually looks kind of cool, as you guys will see later, or that you guys saw in the intro. There is some detail here. I wish there was some more, but it's pretty good for the size that we have him at. Let me get this blurriness. There we go. Yeah, so, I mean, the pumpkin bombs look great. I actually really like the glider. He looks pretty good for as small as he is. The paint applications actually look really stinking good. So, changed my mind on this guy. I actually like him and glad that he came with the figure. Next up, I do want to talk about these hands. We have a lot of hands, and a couple of these are actually new to Spider-Man Hot Toys figures. And I absolutely love the one on the top left, second from the left, with the webbing around his hands. And of course, we have the web gauges, the Spidey web gauges, that are really cool. I probably won't use them because I'm always afraid I'm going to like do something to the cloth on the wrist or something. But they are cool. They fit right underneath the fingers when you have the right hands in place. And it is a cool little mechanism that Hot Toys gave us here. And who knows, maybe one day I will use them. But as for now, I'm going a different route. But I do want to talk about this camera before we take those hands out, because talk about detail. This camera comes with a camera strap. This is actually only the second time that we have gotten a camera with Spider-Man. Man, do I wish we had a Peter Parker 2-pack with this, or a second head sculpt, because this would be so cool. But the camera itself that they put this with the figure makes me so happy. Next up, this base. This base is so cool. Of course, it's that, the hexagon looking case or base that we always get. But I love the artwork on here. I love the quote from Spider-Man to Harry Osborn telling Harry to go ahead and scream it to the world that what he knows about Peter. Just the color scheme and the artwork. And I really like it. And it really does match with the buildings that comes with this figure, as you guys will see later. Or maybe you guys noticed it in the beginning of the video during the intro. But a very cool base indeed. Alright guys, here he is with the chrome eyes. And I'm sorry, but if you guys are a fan of these chrome eyes, good for you. I'm happy. They're different. They're unique. I'll give you that. But it just doesn't match the figure for me and what I'm going for my display. So for me, I will definitely be going with a different set of eyes, and I'll be looking at the other few sets that come with it here in a second. But first, I want to look up close to this Spidey suit, and let me tell you, this thing is a beauty. Now, there is just something so amazing about the boldness, vibrant, and brightness all at once of this suit, but there is one thing, and that is the neck. It bothers me a little bit. However, when messing with the figure a little bit, I started turning the head, and the neck of the suit stretches with the body, and as you can kind of see here, better at picture than actually saying it in words. So that's really cool because it's kind of like what it would really do in real life, kind of go with the costume. So yeah, definitely love that about this, and I'll give him kudos there. At first I didn't like it, but in hand, it's definitely really, really cool. I love the way that they did this, and I can't complain about it. But man, I'm not a big fan of these eyes at all. So looking a little bit more at this suit, I am noticing some things that bother me a little bit, like these plastic hands. We'll talk about that more later. But yeah, just doesn't really match with the costume there. But as I spin him around, you can just tell the vibrantness and the boldness in these colors. It's really one of the best Spidey costumes and colors that I have in my display. I love the way the arms are able to bend up, but there's a lot of seams there. There's a lot of flexibility, but a lot of seam showing. So that somewhat bothers me as well. But as you can see, you get a little creases in the legs here. But I mean, it's Spider-Man. What do you expect? And it does show some realism. We have some flexibility here in the feet, which is really good, actually. I like that a lot. So yeah, a lot of flexibility. Love the colors in the suit. I mean, just extremely bold. And I know some people don't like this, but I do. And it just looks really, really cool. And but yeah, let's go ahead and check out these eyes, guys. We have 3 different sets here. I just popped out that chrome one, and I want to see the differences. Be careful when you're taking these out, because I was using like my little nail to kind of pop them out a little bit, trying not to, just to use my skin, but I'm always afraid to like mess up the cloth around his eye a little bit. So just be careful when taking those off. At least I need to be. But here we have the big eyes here, but more of the white color. Traditional that I like a lot. I think it looks a lot better than that chrome, actually, as you can see side by side here. But yeah, look at this. It's just be careful, guys. I was trying to as best as I could, but let's try out the other pairs here. So here we have the half squinted eye, and I do like it a lot. Definitely better than that chrome. But it's still not for me because of so much border on there, if you know what I mean. All that black border around the eye, it's too much for me, in my opinion. And here's the all the way squinted. It looks really cool with a little bit of white in there, and I guess depending on the pose that you're doing, it's really cool. Maybe taking a picture or something, or getting ready for an action pose. But yeah, I mean, the big white eyes are definitely my thing, so I am gonna go with that, because look at this figure, so stoic. This right here is without a doubt Spider-Man. So yeah, I just really like these eyes, and I do want to talk more about the suit though. As I said, with the neck here, I actually really like that. When you're just looking at the figure, it kind of stinks that it's all attached, but I really do like the way he turns his neck and it stretches with the suit. So
bravo to Hot Toys for that. However, do you see that little hole on the top of his head and on the top of his forehead? It really stinking bothers me, and I don't know why they had to stitch it like that. Like, put that in the back of his neck or something, or I don't know. But yeah, I mean, a lot of seams here, but again, I love the colors. As you can see, the hands though, a closer look at these hands. Do you see it? How the plastic just pops from the cloth of the wrist. Like, I don't like that. It cannot just be me. But going up his suit here looks amazing, all the way up to his head where you see that little hole here with the seam. It really does bother me. I can't get over it. But other than the little hole on top of his head and the hands being plastic, I've got to say this is definitely one of my favorite Spider-Man figures in my display. Let's go ahead and show off a pose. Now, Spider-Man is super amazing in this pose. I love it. And those plastic things, the Daily Bugle that you see there and the New York City skyline basically, was a pain in my butt to put together. But it does look good. You just got to be very careful because it's extremely flimsy. So when you're moving the figure and everything, you got to make sure you put your hand underneath because they will fall out of the holes. It was just a pain in the butt to put together. I never want to have to do that again. I don't know why I even tried to do it. But then when I put it together and it was all said and done, I realized, okay, it's cool. It's worth it. Let's keep it like this. I'm happy about it. I did choose the Amazing Spider-Man title or display title, whatever you want to call it. It came with a couple different ones, which I will show you later. But yeah, these things are so flimsy, guys, and it just bothered me putting them together. And during the display was just, anytime you try to move Spider-Man, one would pop out of the holes. I don't like it. They could have done better with it, but it is really cool to look at. Just don't touch it. But yeah, I mean, as you can see here, that blue is popping. That red is popping. And he looks really, really, really good. Here is a different logo that you could use, or you can use the THWIP sign. So that's pretty cool. But again, I chose the Amazing Spider-Man because I think this is the most classy. I understand if you were a fan of the 90s Spider-Man cartoon, so use that. But I'm an avid, or at least was a very avid comic book reader, so I have to go with the Amazing Spider-Man. And yes, the Goblin looks really cool there in the background behind Spider-Man here. As you can see, he looks really cool, looking like he's flying in a distance, chasing after Spider-Man. And why Spider-Man is running away, I don't know. Maybe he's turning around. But yeah, definitely a cool figure, guys. Is it worth the price? Well, I would say yes. It's a limited piece. As you can see, it's flimsy, but it's a limited piece. The suit is really cool, other than a couple minor details, and I am so happy to have this the way I have it displayed in my collection. I couldn't ask for more from this figure, other than maybe changing the hands to cloth. But hey, you know, you can't have your cake and eat it too. But I would give this figure an easy 9 out of 10. This is an A for me. I want more like this. I need more, you know, superhero cartoon figures like this from the comic books. So Hot Toys, if you're listening, please make more, because I would love to add, like, you know, the Hulk, a Daredevil, or even a Venom to go with this, like an animated version of Venom to go with this piece would be really cool. Or heck, even the Green Goblin, which they sort of kind of teased, or did they, with this little, I don't know, what is it, a 1 in 72 sized Green Goblin here. But as you can see in the Maji case, it's looking really good with that black, deep black background, and I cannot believe it, but he's in my display, and I was so lucky enough to have him. He's got the camera around his neck now. Guys, if you're able to somehow grab a hold of this figure today, definitely do it, because it is worth the price, in my opinion. And if you don't get it now, you'll regret not getting it later. So until next time, guys, if you liked the video, please hit that like button, subscribe for more content. And until next time, keep bricking.